Hello, baby.
Hello, nasty. Hello there.
Hello.
I say hello.
Hello, friend.
Well, hello, little girl.
Hello, my treacherous friends.
Hello, operator. The beginning of everything.
Welcome back, my friends.
It's showtime.
Hey everybody, it's the Brink of Sanity, episode 190. How you doing, Mark?
Good. How you doing?
Terrible.
Good.
I hate when everyone's like, "Oh, everything's great," and it's like, no, it's not. Your life.
Don't you ever want to like someone like at work or someone like you don't really know well sees you and goes, "How are things going?" Well, I hope you have some time because I have some issues to throw on you right now.
Sometimes I throw out a mediocre, and it always confuses people.
How are things going? You know, I mean, ever since the operation.
I just like keeping it short. I'm like, it's sort of mediocre, and then I just keep walking, and they're like, "Huh? You're supposed to say good."
You should throw out something that no one wants to ask the question, like, "Oh, how are things going?" Well, you know, life with one ball can't go that well.
I still can't get over the death of my first pet, but
How are things going? It's been 15 years since Sparky died, and I still cry at least once a night.
start pulling out pictures on your phone.
You're like, so how's it going? I'm still fucking single. Why would you ask that? So why are things going? This is the forum to tell us why things are bad, Jay.
Yeah, that's true. This is the Negaverse. So
It's called the Brink of Sanity. It's not called the Brink of Things Are Well.
Let's see. Last week, I thought that I had 4 days off before classes start again because I think I mentioned I was taking 3 grad school classes.
Yes, Jay he works full time and he's also going back to school for accounting. He's doing this. You would think he's doing this to get his degree in accounting. He's really doing this to show me why I never want to go back to school because it sounds miserable every time I talk to him about it.
Probably one of the worst things ever.
Yeah. Well, your degree is over what in you said in June, I guess June 2030?
16.
Holy shit, that's so long from now.
I know, it really is. It would be a lot longer if I wasn't almost going to school full time.
Yeah, I mean, going like I long for the days of going to school. The days like going to school is pretty awesome because you have so much free time. You bullshit, you go out. It's fun. I mean, you have to do work, and the biggest complaint is you're broke. Work is not that much fun, but at least you have money. When you combine them, well, tell us how awful that is, Jay.
Yeah, when you combine them, it's no good. I remember going back to school. First of all, when I went to undergrad, I don't think I ever had one class as hard as any one of the classes I'm taking now. I don't know how your undergrad was, but mine was like, I don't remember even being in class, and I did decent.
I had some hard classes. I didn't work that hard for them, which probably was reflected in how I did.
Mm-hmm.
But I taken some hard classes in my life, but never while I was working. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I also remember I was able to play Smash Brothers for about 5 hours a day, which not so much now.
What is Smash Brothers?
It is the game where all the Nintendo characters beat the crap out of each other. It's kind of like King of the Hill.
Oh, yeah, I think I knew that. Is that
was
still around? Is that still like a popular game?
Well, they came out with one for the Wii, which sucked, and then now they're coming out with one for the Wii U, which looks really good.
Do people still go to like video arcades anymore? Is that still like a popular thing that the kids are doing?
There's no arcades anymore.
I think Dave and Buster's has an arcade. Outside of that, like
barely an arcade. It's all driving games and shooting games. Like there's absolutely no variety.
I went there a couple years ago. A friend had a birthday there, and we went to play the video games. And I was looking around like, all these games are really like shoot, drive. They're not games I actually want to sit down and play.
No, there's no like coin eater games like the Ninja Turtles game or Double
that
Dragon.
was the ultimate coin eater game. I remember being there and wasting like $20 so I can keep playing the Ninja Turtles game.
Oh, absolutely. I went to when I was in like junior high and maybe freshman year of high school. We had like a bowling league, but there was
Yeah.
a mini arcade in the bowling alley, and it had Double Dragon, Super Off Road, Ninja Turtles, The Simpsons game,
Oh man.
and yeah. So I had to bring like an extra $10 every week just to play that.
I feel like we grew up. I mean, just because it was when we were growing up, it was the golden age for video games.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
The only thing about the Ninja Turtle game was like the cool thing is you played with 3 other people. Mm-hmm. But then like you put enough quarters, you'd stick around and you'd win the game, and it was a winnable game, and you'd be like, "Fuck, that's all that happens."
Yeah, but then the very next week you'd play it again.
Yeah, then you keep playing it, be like, "Well, I won it once, but I was a different character. Now I'm gonna be the
Dante.
other Ninja Turtle."
Yeah, see, that's the thing with today's games. It's impossible not to beat because you could save it every 5 seconds. And then once you beat it, you never want to play it again.
Well, all the games that are in the arcade, though, it's like all just shoot, shoot, shoot. I'm like, who cares?
Oh, yeah, well, the arcade games, forget it. It's every game is, they do that because every game they could charge $1 for because it's got a prop or something.
Yeah. Well, I also, all the games at home, like, I know they probably have some amazing games out now, but at some point they changed the games from being like, go out and fight stuff, like Mortal Kombat style. Well, Mortal Kombat, I guess, was like fighting each other, Contra style, I should say, to go out and go on a mission, like the James Bond game. Let's go on a mission and find this and this. And I'm like, I don't give a shit enough to try to solve a problem. I don't solve problems in my real life. Why am I going to solve problems in this virtual life?
Yeah, I just want to hold right and shoot things.
I want to go up, up, and down, 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 right, right, left, left, and have like a secret thing happen. Not, okay, now you found the cartridges, find the Russian with the... I don't want to go on a mission. I don't want, like...
You know, I'm also over 3D. Give me a nice 2D side scroller. I'm good.
The 3D also, have you seen the 3D televisions they have, like at Best Buy?
I haven't. I know they have them, but I haven't like sat.
Well, I
and
remember
watched one.
they came out, and I was like, I don't necessarily want to get a 3D television, but I kind of want to go to the store and see what they're like. 'Cause they say they have like football in like 3D. You go there in the store, you put them on, and you think they're kidding. This is it. It's not 3D you get in the movies where you're seeing Avatar. It's kind of like, it kind of jumps off the screen a little bit. You're like, I'm going to pay an extra $2,000 for this TV to barely give a shit about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know how much they are now, but when they first came out, they were like pushing 5 digits.
I was told there's a new kind of TV coming out called the 4K, or it's out. Have you heard of this?
No.
It's supposed to be the next, I don't know if it's like 4K or maybe it's 4D or whatever it's called. It's a lot of money. And the idea being like, this is the way your regular tube TV to HD. The difference was, this is the same difference from HD to the next level, where you basically look like, you feel like you're looking outside.
Don't really care.
Yeah, the picture doesn't need to get that much better.
It does. I've watched a Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I don't need to see like the individual moles on an old guy's head. Like, I don't care about that much detail.
Yeah, I'm not stalking these people. I'm just trying to watch a show. It doesn't need to be that much better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything where maybe I'm watching the wrong movies, but from what I saw, I wasn't like, oh, I need to get this.
Right, and I guess I haven't seen this new version, so maybe it's really cool when you see it. But at some point, I can just see the TV. It doesn't matter what
It would have to be really good for me to say, you know what? I'm going to rebuy all the movies I own.
And again, they have the thing where there's not a lot of content for it yet, but there will be a lot of content for it soon, and everyone
Until
will be
the
doing
next
this soon.
thing comes out that's 5D and even better.
Yeah. Until I think eventually a TV crew will come to your place and you'll act in the show, and that's what it'll be. I'm excited for this week at 24. I mean, they're gonna put a bulletproof vest on me and shoot me.
Jack
So,
Bauer's going to sit on your lap and tickle your balls.
This week on 24, and the least interesting week ever. I haven't watched the new season. Have you watched the new season? To jump topic to topic completely like I'm a freaking crackhead.
No, I just finished watching Jim Henson's Creature Shop. Which
Didn't know that even was a show.
is awesome.
What is that?
It's a reality show to work for Brian Henson, and so every week there was a challenge. We had to make like a different special effects prop or design a creature or something like that, and just really amazing the talent that these people have.
What channel is it on?
Sci-fi.
Yeah, it does sound kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff they came up with was just ridiculous.
Give us an example, Jay.
They had to make an alien that gives a press conference, but they had to have an outer face that like opens up and reveals like the real alien in it, and then the real alien would like move around and talk. And and one person had 3 days to make all that.
I don't know how people actually do that.
It's pretty cool because you see him like make something out of clay and then get like a foam mold made out of it, and like you see the whole process. It's pretty sweet.
So like what was The Apprentice? That show, and I didn't watch it that much, but they do like a bit on that show, and you watch, you go, oh, what would I have done, or maybe I could have done something better in that, or similar. I think if I watched that Jim Henson show and saw them make an alien, I would just say, I'm stupid. I can't do any of that stuff, no matter how many lifetimes you gave me.
Oh yeah, it was definitely one of those shows where I was like, I would just walk out like halfway through the first day.
Yeah. So why is school terrible right now?
Oh well, first I think I might have told you this part. I found out I had an 89.975, and a 90 is what gets you the A minus.
Well, you didn't get it, Jay. Sorry. Better luck next time.
That's pretty much what my professor said.
How do you? I kind of, and I know you're going to say you argue with the professor about the grade, but I kind of hate people that argue with the professor for the grades, only because it's never worked out for me. So why should it work out for everyone else?
But I mean, 0.025%. You see, my problem was it wasn't like a test grade. Like participation was 15% of the grade, and he just arbitrarily gave me a 90. So it's like he literally could have gave me a 90.25 and it would have bumped me up. So that was my problem, because it was just an arbitrary number.
What if it wasn't arbitrary? You had like all the statistics about like how many times you actually raised your hand compared to everyone else.
I'd be like, fine, you got me.
And like, Judy, who sits in front of you, her hand was always raised straighter. It seemed like she wanted her questions really answered, and you were just kind of like there for the participation grade. She wanted it, Jay.
See, the problem is, my issue is that I'm friends with this other girl in my class, and I know she got an A, and she didn't say a word the entire semester. So, I mean, if you were going to give me a 90 and I raised my hand all the time, she should probably get a 50, which would not have given her an A.
That's fair. The participation thing, I always thought was kind of a BS grade. Like, I'm like, why do you grade us on that? Mm-hmm. But if I was a professor, I would totally include participation, because who wants to sit there with a bunch of people who don't give a shit about what you're saying? Just, like, you want the class to be engaged throughout. You want to be able to pretend like you're having a conversation, not just like...
Totally, I totally get that. And a lot of people in the class did talk, but I was one of them. So,
Did you find yourself raising your hand like extra amount just to get things in? Like,
no, I'm never that guy.
You're like, Mr. J? Yes, it's weird they call me Mr. J, but that was an excellent tie you wore yesterday, and today you've outdone it.
Yeah, no, I had this guy in my last class who, when the class began, the professor would say, do you have any questions? And this one guy would raise his hand and say, how are you doing today? And I know he was doing it just to try and get participation credits.
Was he trying to get a laugh?
No, I think he was just trying to raise his hand as much as every opportunity.
He would literally say, how are you doing today?
Yes. Once the professor said, shut up.
That kind of reminds me of like a different light, not like kissing up, but like when you listen to like a radio show, like a sports talk radio, and a guy calls up and he's like, hey, how you doing? And I prefer when the guy who's in the show is always like, get your question.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not meeting you to have a long discussion with you. Just tell me what your question is.
Yeah, or they say like, what's up? It's like, kind of doing
what's
a
up?
show.
That's the one thing Mike Francesca, I can never say his name. I give him props for the fact that he doesn't really like engage. Like, he just says, what's your question?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, so you got the 90. Tell me you got the 90.
I did. I changed my strategy after he said, like, listen, I can't give extra points, and
you were like, What if I undo your zipper?
Well, he's like, oh, it wouldn't be fair to other students if I just gave you points. So I was going to let it go. And then I'm like, let me just try this strategy. I'm like, all right, I'm not asking for extra points, but I would like to challenge my 90 in participation. I think I most certainly earned a 90.25. And it worked.
What if he says I don't give 90.25?
They give me a 91, whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
it worked. So
What were you like, Jay? Why do you let's do it now, Jay? Why do you think your grade was worth a 90.25 instead of a 90?
I think I raised my hand 90.25% of the time in class.
You think or you know, Jay?
I calculated.
How many times did you raise your hand, Jay?
36.
Really? What's the average student in the class raise their hand?
I took a survey and it came out to 32.
Really?
Yeah.
So the average person, you only raise your hand 4 more times, or about 10% more, and you're saying the average person gets like a 75. You want a 90.25? I'm going to lower your grade, moron. So you got your A minus.
I did, yeah.
Why didn't you just go for the kill then and go, I appreciate the A minus. That is great. How about an A? I'm only 3 points from an A. What if you give me a 98 for participation? I think my hand never went down. I had shoulder surgery after the class because my hand was so much in the air.
So
So
then,
how are things bad if you got the A minus? It's like fantastic.
because then,
You were the real life clueless.
yeah. So the an hour later, I'm like busy celebrating.
Those people don't remember Clueless from 15 years ago. She goes in and talks all her professors to giving her higher grades. Go on.
That was literally the only movie I've ever walked out on in a movie theater.
Oh, come on. You're someone that really walks out on movies.
That was the only time I've ever done it.
Oh, God. Why? It's actually, first of all, it's actually a pretty good movie. It's pretty funny. It's like a great movie.
not.
But it's
She hits a car and then says, should I write him a note? And that's the joke.
well, it was a pretty popular movie. It was one of those movies that was like a cultural, like everyone saw it. So everyone saw it, everyone talked about it. You're like, oh, I walked out.
It's terrible.
What point did you walk out? Were you trying to make a statement?
I think immediately
Alicia
after.
Silverstone's going to get this message.
I think immediately after, should I write him a note?
I don't even know when that, like, was that, how far into the movie was that?
I don't know, 20, 30
How many
minutes.
people how many people did you see it with?
I think it was just me.
Okay. Were you hang on, it was just you. You went out of your way to go by yourself to the movies to see this movie, and you got up and walked out.
No. I had this job where I had to like do a head count.
I had this job called film projector guy.
No, movie companies.
You were working in a movie theater, or what were you doing?
Movie companies hire people to go to movie theaters and do head counts to make sure the movie theater isn't cheating them out of money by, misrepresenting the head count in movies.
I did not know this. That was a job. How old were you at that point? This is like 15 years ago, I guess. So you were younger than now.
Yeah, I mean, well, that movie was out like 20 years ago, right?
That movie was when we were in high school. That was the mid 90s.
So I was like, I must have been able to drive 16,
Okay.
17.
Okay. So you go in the movie theater. How many movies did you do this with them for?
I would usually do like 4 a day.
Okay. And how much you get paid for this?
It was probably like $8 a movie.
Okay. So you're saying you did 4 a day, which is like 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying midway into this movie that you're like, oh, this is cheesy. I'm going to get up and continue my job going to another movie to count. So you were really like, it was advantageous for you to walk out of the movie theater because you were getting paid to like not stay there.
Well, no, because then I had to like wait.
What did you sit through that day? What other movies did you see?
I think I sat through Something About Mary 3 times because I enjoyed that one. So I just kept watching.
That's a
it.
really funny movie, by the way.
Yeah.
That was actually I think I'd never seen a preview when I saw that movie. And it was, maybe if I'd seen some of the previews and the commercials, I saw it when it first came out. I thought it was maybe the funniest movie I've ever seen in the theater.
Yeah. And it was, in the theaters, it was extra funny because people were like losing it during that first 15 minutes.
I have this basket in my kitchen where we keep the newspapers for recycling.
Mm-hmm.
and apparently it can't hold my weight, as I just broke it.
That was that snap I
I
heard.
am such a moron. Oh God! And now it's like, do we get another one, or can we just live with the basket broken? The newspapers can still go in the basket. What's the goddamn difference?
I think you're good.
So I have to make it so it looks like it's semi not broken. I just like the thing like cracked in half, the one of the sides. If my wife sees it, she's gonna be like, "Well, we got to get a new one. We can't live like this."
Yeah, we can't put
I don't know what live like this would even mean.
we can't put used newspapers in a broken receptacle.
I mean, people will come over and they'll think, "You keep your used newspapers in something that's not in mint condition? What is wrong with you, you animals?" So I have to make it so she doesn't notice. And she might be able to hear me, which makes it even worse. But I have to make it so it's not that noticeable. So when she finally notices, she just walked into the room. Oh,
Busted.
God. Maybe she's not going to notice.
Blame it on one of the kids.
We have two kids, and one of them's mobile. He could have easily broken this.
Absolutely.
So I stepped on the newspaper thing here, and I broke it. Do we have to get a new one, or can we just keep the broken one? Why do we have to get a new one?
And that, folks, is the difference between men and women.
Oh my God. Well, it's not that. I can make it look like it's not noticeable. Can I put tape on it?
Oh, tape. Just turn it 180 degrees so it's up against something.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn it. I'll just turn it so it's up against something.
You know,
She said that's fine. I have a good wife.
She said it's fine,
Yeah.
but you're going to come home from work. There's going to be a new one, and she's going to ask for money for it.
Oh, wait, Jay. I'm trying to engage with the conversation off the air. What did you say?
I said she's going to say it's fine, then she's going to come home with a new one and ask you to pay for it.
That's exactly what she's going to do. She's going to come home with a new one and be like, "Oh, we got a new one. Oh, well."
P.S. You owe me $30.
You actually know what? She did come home with a new one. We have not to go take this show on a totally different road. You have in your bathroom, you probably have a bath mat, right?
Yeah.
A little like rug, whatever, by the toilet or the shower.
Yeah.
So I guess we had one that was getting a little old, and she wanted to replace it. Totally. Liz said she said it was ripped. Whatever. Totally fine with replacing it. I'm not as cheap as she thinks I am. She bought one that's kind of foamy and not like the normal one I usually say. Like not like it doesn't look like carpeting. Looks like a kind of a sponge thing. It kind of feels cool under your feet.
Mm-hmm.
This thing also, for whatever reason, it doesn't stay on the you know how it basically just slides across the floor like it's on ice.
Oh, that sounds safe.
Oh my God, I've almost killed myself now like 8 times. Every time you step on it, it slides, and you have to kind of just make sure you don't end up a paraplegic after taking a shower.
That's great for getting out of the shower, and also great if you have a 2-year-old who likes to run at full speed.
Yeah. So our kid that takes a bath there when he gets out, hopefully he won't die one of these times. So I said, "Hey, you know how not cheap I am? Could you get a new one?" And now she's rolling her eyes and thinking a complete moron trying to make this thing look normal that's on the floor. Oh my God. You would have noticed this? She says she would have noticed it. I say she wouldn't have noticed this for like weeks. And then I would have just said, "Oh, I can't believe Zach did this."
I think she would have, because my girlfriend absolutely would have noticed it within 5 minutes. They can smell these sort of things. It's like women can smell cracks.
That is true. So we had a lamp, one of those stand-up lamps, halogen lamps in our bedroom, and somehow I broke it. I cracked it, and I was like, I'm just gonna tape it together and hope she doesn't notice. She noticed it that night.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Hey, what happened to it? I think it broke." I was like, "Oh my God, it broke! You're right."
Yeah, it's
and then I was like, "I just did it. Whatever. Just got a new one. We got a new one." At first, I'm hiding it, like I'm hiding it from my parents. Then I'm like, "Wait a second, we're back." Liz's response, my wife's response, "It cost $40. I could have used that $40 not to buy a lamp."
Yeah, that's like a week's worth of lunch.
Yeah, exactly. I ate a week's worth of turkey sandwiches that I don't buy to save money. What were we talking about besides me being an idiot?
My bad week with school.
Okay, go back to your bad week of school.
So then I'm finally like, oh, cool.
What if I turned it this way? I turn it against the wall, and that way our son can't I'll just turn against the wall. Whatever. The bad side's on the against the wall. That's fine.
That's what I would have done, but she's getting a new one.
It's still pretty bad. What if I put some tape on it? Oh, our response was if you put tape on it, it'll look worse. The place where we're leaving our newspapers for the garbage, basically. The place we leave our garbage is not nice enough.
Okay.
Okay, you can shut the door with me.
Like, all right, get out.
Get out. That's basically what I just said. I lost that place.
You can shut the door with you on the other end of the door.
Yes. Okay, I think it looks okay. I'll put some masking tape on it. Yeah, I don't see any issue with this. Okay, tell me about your
Oh yeah, so this is Thursday, so I'm like, oh cool, now I have like 3 days stress free to just do whatever I want before school starts up again. And 5 minutes after that, I get a text from my friend, and she says, "Can you take notes for me tonight?" And I said, "You're stupid. Class starts next week." And then she said, "Look at the syllabus." And apparently, because my school is weird, 2 classes start next week, but one of them actually started that night.
Oh, at least they all didn't start.
Yeah, at least they all didn't start. But now I'm already
That's the worst
behind.
feeling. Wait, but you found out this before the class actually happened?
I found out at 5:45, and the class started at 5:30.
Oh. Wait, why was she asking you if you could take notes for her when the class already had started? Wouldn't she have, like, gotten on this earlier?
I guess she was trying to get out of work and couldn't get out of work, so she figured, let me get notes from Jay because he's responsible.
And you are apparently responsible. That's a good way to start the class.
Mm-hmm. And then I got my syllabus for my 0 credit scam class that I have to take. We talked about that, right? Where I have to take a 0 credit class.
Just remind people, because I think there's a lot of people that don't ever listen to our show.
So one of the requirements for my school is to take a 0 credit class that they still charge $650 for. It's a communications class that is not waivable, even if you have a communications degree. And you have to pay and register for the class in a separate office, which isn't sketchy at all.
Wait, hang on. So, as part of the, how many credits do you need total?
69 credits, I believe.
Okay, as part of the 69, why don't they just make it 70 credits and give this class a 1 credit to make it seem less like a complete insanity?
I have no idea. But it's 3 credits worth of work. That's where I'm going with this. I got my syllabus, and my life is just over. I have
how many this is over, how many weeks is this?
6.
6 weeks, and tell us what you have to do.
I have to. There's only 17 classes. I have to give 5 presentations. I have to do 3 papers. Oh, each presentation I have to put together like PowerPoint slides for too.
Wait, in 6 weeks you have to do 5 presentations?
Yes.
You have to come to the first class with a presentation?
Second class.
Oh man. So is this the one you missed, or not the one you missed?
No, I missed an accounting class. The one I missed is a class
Important.
that runs the whole summer. So
Okay.
That's a little less bad.
How many times a week is this class?
Twice a week, 2 hours each time. 8:15 to 10:15 at night.
So you have 24 hours basically of this class,
Yeah.
and it's 0 credits.
Wait, there's 17. There's 17 classes, right?
What do you have to do to actually get credit for it? Like I assume it's pass fail.
Yeah. But there's like a billion assignments for it.
Oh my god.
That's what I'm saying. There's 5 presentations. There is let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 papers. There's journals, which are a couple hundred words each. There's 6 of those.
What do you have to do what do you have to do with this class? What are the papers on? What are the presentations on?
First presentation is I have to pick a social issue that's going to affect businesses. So I'm doing like the Obama's carbon tax that he's making because of global warming.
Oh, is he really getting that forward? I thought that's stuff that doesn't ever get out of Congress.
He's going around Congress.
Okay.
Anyway, so I have to do presentation on that, and then there's a group presentation where we have to reenact like a conference call. There's another one where we have to
Nothing better than a conference call than reenacting one.
then we have to reenact a business meeting, and then Then I have to do like a 7-minute solo presentation, which will be great for my anxiety. Oh, there's a book I have to get and read passages of that too. So this is really cool.
What level of anxiety do you have?
What level?
What is you said before you have anxiety. What is it like?
Well, during presentations, I will have full-fledged anxiety attacks.
What happens to you?
Heart racing. I feel like I can't breathe. Sometimes I'll get lightheaded or dizzy.
Do you take like medication for this?
Yeah.
What do you take?
Well, I don't anymore. I took Paxil like 10 years ago.
Did it help?
It did, but I mean, then that has a whole bunch of other side effects. So, I mean,
Isn't it always the side effects would give you more anxiety than the actual medication?
No, but it was a whole bunch of other like physical symptoms. So it's like, do I want anxiety? Or do I want like a whole bunch of other physical things?
Right. No, I'm saying they always have like these side effects. They're like,
Oh yeah, anxiety medication could cause anxiety.
yeah, exactly.
Heart medication could cause heart attacks.
Anxiety medication could cause all these things that would give any normal person anxiety.
Yeah.
This medication for your acne will probably cause you to kill yourself, but your face will look really good in the casket.
Yeah.
So Eddie, do you break out in like hives?
No hives.
You get like non-functional or just like really like the heart racing thing?
I don't know, last presentation I had to give, I was on the verge of just shutting down, but I got through my thing, but that was about 3.5 minutes. So I got to do double that without like totally bugging out.
Do you remember on South Park, what was it, Stan used to just throw up when he talked to girls?
Yes.
That would be amazing if that's what happened to you for anxiety. You think you're just giving a presentation, you're like, and so we're going to start the conference call by saying, bleh! You got it all got on everyone.
I wonder if I would pass or not.
Yeah, you were like, listen, after I threw from the girl in the front row, I kind of nailed it.
If you ignore the whole barf on the table part, I believe I deserve an A.
I believe my participation was a 90.25. Except, Jay, you did throw up on a couple people that sat in front of you, which was revolting, and you're lucky I'm giving you a 90.
All right, what else have we got?
I think we have a bunch of listener questions, but I want to talk about, there was a shooting that happened. The one in, was it UC San Diego or UC, which school was it happened at?
I don't know, Buenos Aires?
You know what I'm talking about. In California,
Yeah.
this guy said he wrote a 143-page dissertation on why women, he didn't get to have any sex with women, and he was angry at the world, and then he shot a bunch of people, including himself, and it was a gigantic tragedy. Obviously,
that douche, yeah.
Yeah. So that's totally a tragedy. Awful. But then there was this article by this critic, Anne Hornaday, for the Washington Post, which was insane because they blamed all this stuff on Seth Rogan and basically movies that they don't give strong roles to women or make women to be sex objects, and that's why guys go around shooting people.
Right. So what they should do is either have a movie where a guy sits in his living room on a Friday night and plays World of Warcraft to make it realistic, or just have like a kind of ugly female character go out on a date with a kind of ugly dude.
I'm going to read some extras from this article, and there's another article. I'm not going to spend the entire show on this. We'll make this short. But here's where it starts. As deranged manifestos go, the final YouTube video made by suspected Isla Vista, California mass murderer Elliot Rodger was remarkably well made. Filmed by Rodger in his black BMW with palm trees in the background and his face bathed in a magic hour key light, the 6-minute diatribe during which he vows revenge on all women who rejected him and men who were enjoying fun and sex while he was rotting in loneliness might easily have been mistaken for a scene from one of the movies of Roger's father, Peter Roger, who worked as a director and cinematographer. I guess apparently this guy worked on some movies, his dad. Really, I don't see a lot of movies where they have people making diatribes about murdering people if it's not a very serious movie. But she goes on to then talk about these male, like, Judd Apatow movies. Indeed, as important as it is to understand Roger's actions within the context of the mental illness he clearly suffered, it is just as clear that his delusions were inflated, if not created, by the entertainment industry he grew up in.
So what are they supposed to do? Make every single movie? Isn't the whole point of movies to like lose yourself and watch something that wouldn't happen in real life? Isn't that the whole point of movies?
Why don't we just have warnings? Warning: if you're mentally unstable, you might not want to see this movie because your ego will be inflated. Your dreams of nailing hot women will be inflated. With his florid rhetoric of self-pity, aggression, and awkwardly forced evil laugh, Roger resembled a noxious cross between Christian Bale's slick sociopath in American Psycho, the thwarted womanizer in James Toback's The Pickup Artist, and every Bond villain in the canon.
What is he saying, that they should depict every situation in every movie realistically?
Yeah, so I'm going to fast forward in the article. How many students watch outsized frat boy fantasies like Neighbors, Seth Rogen's new movie, and feel as Roger did, unjustly shut out of college life that should be full of sex and fun and pleasure? How many men raised on the steady diet of Judd Apatow comedies in which the schlubby, arrested adolescent always gets the girl, find that those happy endings constantly elude them, and conclude it's not fair?
I think only mentally ill people come to those conclusions.
I feel like this guy, and I know the guy, from what I understand, the guy didn't mention any movies in his article, in his diatribe, any of his diatribe or his 143-page dissertation on this. I think he was just reflecting on what happened to him in real life. That he didn't get girls, so other people have girls, and he was pissed off, I guess. And he also was mentally unstable. We don't see a lot of shootings at Judd Apatow movies, do we?
No, I don't think so.
No one walks out of there and be like, you know what? I just saw Knocked Up, and some fat dude knocked up some hot girl, and I'm going to go murder. Movies may not reflect reality, but they are powerfully conditioned what we desire, expect, and feel, and we deserve from it. Totally get that, because I remember there were all these movies about how we should commit genocide on the Native Americans in the 14th century, and then we came here and did that. So totally get that. It just goes on like this. I just don't understand how you could like write an article. She just goes on to talk about how like basically these movies are causing the men to have these unrealistic fantasies about society, and then the mentally ill people will kill people, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, well then I want her to make a movie where a Seth Rogen type of character goes out, tries to hit on women, gets rejected, and then goes home and watches porn. And we'll see how much money that movie makes.
You know, Judd Apatow did make that movie about, well, Russia taking over Crimea, and they did. Remember that Judd Apatow? That was a hilarious comedy.
Oh, yeah,
where,
that was a
at
knee
the end of the
slapper,
movie,
yeah.
Russia got Crimea, and then he did it in real life. So then there's this article I was reading called, the article's by this very conservative Ross Duhat, the Times today, called, or Times from yesterday, I guess, called Prisoners of Sex. And it also talks about, where's the part I want to read?
You got a
So often you step into the mental landscape of mass murderer and find nothing but paranoia, nightmare logic, snakes eating their own tails. But compared with the mysteries of Tucson, Newton, and Aurora, this case is an internal psychodrama that is much more recognizable, a murderous logic that is a little more familiar. The Santa Barbara killer's pulsing antipathy towards women, his shame, his fury over sexual inexperience, these were amplified horribly by mental illness, yes. But visit the angrier corners of the internet, wander into the comment threads of chat rooms, and you'll recognize them in the extreme versions of the all too commonplace misogyny.
Okay.
So this he admits the first part of the story, hey, this guy's mentally unstable, but he's got a lot of good points. So he goes on I have some point here. So the cultural attitude is Heffernism, as in Hefner, Playboy. Basically, if less baldly chauvinistic than the original Playboy philosophy, sexual fulfillment is treated as the source and the summit of life, well lived. The thing with which nobody, from a carefree college student to Cialis taking senior, can be truly happy, enviable, or free without. Meanwhile, social alternatives to sexual partnership are disfavored or in decline. And then he mentions these. Virginity is for weirdos and losers. Celibate life is either a form of unhealthy repression or a smokescreen for deviancy. The kind of intense friendships celebrated by past civilizations are associated with closeted homosexuality, and a steady shrinking of extended families has reduced many people's access to familial forms of platonic intimacy.
Holy crap.
Is that the weirdest paragraph you've ever heard?
Or it's a movie.
I mean, it's a movie, but this guy's just going, yeah. You know what? Like, if more people were just like, hey, let's live celibately, there'd be less. If we made that sound cooler, there'd be less killing.
Yeah, that sounds very logical.
I think when people always lose out, like, hey, basically, I know we're like the most evolved animals, but we're still animals. Everyone likes the whole reproduction thing is all part of our instinct.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This is probably not that interesting. Should I go on, or this is stupid?
Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Anyhow, so point being, stop trying to like, never. You should never make an argument. Go, well, I mean, all these people died in reality, but let's look at the movies.
Yeah, exactly. It's the fault of the movies.
Yeah, it's always the fault of the movies. I mean, yeah. When I saw Jurassic Park, I was like, how many people are going to get killed now by dinosaurs coming back to life?
I have another overreacting story.
Tell me.
There was a bar in Texas that how they have a lot of bars just have a chalkboard with, whatever happy hour special on it or a joke.
Yeah.
So this one said, I like my beer like I like my violence domestic.
That's pretty funny.
And, it's just maybe in bad taste, but it's a joke.
It may be in bad taste.
Okay, it's in bad taste, but it's a joke. And this lady who went into the bar, like, flipped out over it and demanded that they take it down. And when he didn't take it down, she, like, posted it on all these social media sites. And then a bunch of other people got all worked up about it and got all pissed off about it. And it's like, why do you have to get all that worked up over somebody else's joke? If you don't like the joke, you don't like the joke. But like, why do you have to freak out over it?
You know where it probably goes really downhill is when she says, "I'm pissed off. You should take that down. It's in poor taste." And you're like, "Oh, were you the victim of domestic violence?" And then she tells you she was, and then you're like, "I wish I never put the joke up."
I mean, that was probably the case. She probably was, but like,
yeah, it's obviously in bad taste and whatever. But
why do people like all freaking out, and then other people jumping in and like,
why don't people just do this? Don't go to the bar.
Yeah,
if you think it's in poor taste, just don't give them business.
Or you could just make a scene and then waste hours of your life trying to be a social warrior and accomplishing nothing.
I understand if you were really pissed off because that slogan was on the front of a church or government building. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bar. Who cares?
Exactly.
I'm guessing there was another bar in your town. Go to that one. Maybe if all the women got really offended and never went to that bar, they'd probably get rid of it.
Or maybe if you actually got upset about something that was actually important in life.
No, don't get upset about things that are important. Talk about bad jokes. That joke was offensive. Isn't it offensive that we live in a society where so many people have all this money and other people live in the street? No, the joke is offensive. I'm not going to deal with realities.
Yeah, exactly. So I have one more quick story.
I'm sure.
Fattest man on the planet dies.
Yeah.
Cause of death unknown. I just thought that was funny. I mean, they're going to get a team of detectives together to figure out what killed the fattest man on the entire planet.
We need you to do an autopsy. Come on, really? Yeah, we need to figure out the cause. Do I really have to figure out the cause? It's your job. You have to. We don't know what caused the death. We don't know if it was foul play. Could have been murder. It was murder by sugar. Can you leave me alone? You
We just have no idea.
The guy's 1,000 pounds. It'll take me all day to cut him open.
We just have no idea what killed this 1,000-pound man.
You know what the worst part of all is? The worst part of all is for the people that they don't mention in the story. The people carrying the casket. Mm-hmm. Oh my God! It's a team of like 30 people have to carry this casket, who probably like need surgery afterwards. Plus, the guys digging like the grave probably took all day. He's like, I want to go home and walk and see my kids tonight, but this bastard weighs 1,000 pounds. I have to dig a really big hole.
They literally had to put him on a flatbed truck to take him away.
Oh, sounds. I mean,
anyway,
I actually know this story. You sent me the story earlier in the week. The best part of the whole story isn't the fact the cause is unknown. The best part of the story is that he has a wife.
Yeah, that's. Did she get like a attempted murder charge for feeding him that much?
No, but like the fact that like you have so many people out there that are single, trying to meet someone else, they can't find someone else. They go on these dating sites. They're like, I can't meet anyone. And the world's fattest man's like, I mean, come on. I mean, like, I could meet someone. I don't care what she looks like. He met someone.
I know.
I was trying to explain this to someone else, a friend the other night. I was like, how funny. My friend was single. And I was just like, how funny this is. And my friend's like, but I'm really picky. I'm like, I'm not comparing you to the 1,000-pound guy and saying that he beat you for the girl. I'm just saying it's really funny. This guy is like, girl, that's all, okay? You don't take offense to this.
Exactly.
There's one other story I want to say, then we should go to questions.
Yeah, because we're running long already.
Running long. So there's an article, and I can't seem to find it, but about marijuana so far in Colorado. And Colorado and Washington has been legal, right?
Yeah.
And so they were saying there's some groups that come out and said that it's already been terrible in Colorado. Mm-hmm. And they point to, I guess as an example, some dude who's taking pain medication and smoked some weed apparently went crazy and like shot his wife or something.
Right, because that happens every time you get high.
Right.
Remember when you wanted to go on a killing spree last time you got baked?
Yeah. And apparently some other dude, a college student or something, got high and jumped off a bridge.
Oh yeah, that was when I wasn't on killing sprees. I was trying to jump off bridges.
You don't know how many times I killed myself on weed. So, but they point to this and they say that, and they also say that weed. There's more. A greater number of people are getting caught for being stoned and driving. And all these things. What drives me crazy is, you point to a couple examples of like bad things happening with weed. How many times are these things happening already with alcohol or like guns, or how many people are dying for all the other things? They're like, but weed's killing because all the other things aren't already killing people every day. Why are you mad at weed?
Well, two things. I read one that 1.5% of all the driving under influence charges are for people who are stoned. So that means all the rest are alcohol.
Right. And so 1% are that, and the 99% of them you don't care about, I guess.
And then I also read that, I'm sure they didn't mention it in this article, that crime and, basically aggravated assault and theft went down over 10% in the 6 months that marijuana has been legal.
I did read that, and they probably said they did not sure if it was attributed to the marijuana, but there were some people that would have committed crimes who were just baked and just were too lazy to commit the crimes.
Well, sounds like every win-win situation.
It sounds like a win-win situation to me. There's an old joke, I think it's from SNL, but it's like, who's the guy out there getting into a car accident? The guy who's drinking. Who's the guy beating his wife? The guy who's drinking. Who's the guy on his second bag of Cheetos? The stoned guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we asked for questions on Brink of Sanity, and we asked for it on our Nick site because we just want a lot of questions. And we have some questions. We're going to answer them, and that is good. Mm-hmm. So, Jay, voicemails, emails?
Yep, just covered them.
So, anyhow, whatever. If you want to like our show or ask us questions, go on the Brink of Sanity or join our Knicks group, and you can ask us questions there. If you notice, we're not doing a Knicks show this week because I know the NBA Finals are about to start, but the Knicks are kind of boring right now, and we're kind of pissed off about that. Anyhow, first question: $2 billion for the Clippers. Solar roads could be something.
I guess this person saw my Facebook page. I posted something about replacing the roads with solar roads.
Let's talk about the $2 billion for the Clippers thing. I know that's an NBA thing, but I kind of want to talk about that in the sense of like, hey, jackass, you made this giant racist comment, and your punishment is you have to take $2 billion and go away.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever gotten a better punishment in life?
He only made 1,500% on his investment.
It almost is like, maybe I should start making racist comments. I don't know, man. I never got $2 billion punishment.
Yeah, that wasn't the worst of things that could have happened to him.
It really was like the greatest punishment you could ever think of. I don't know what could have gotten a lot better. Like, they're like, oh, Sterling, how dare you now participate in this orgy? Sterling, how dare you? We're going to give you the Bucks instead of the Clippers.
That would have been a punishment.
That would have been a punishment. I just thought it's like the whole story. You're like, oh, that's what happened? And now they say he has dementia or Alzheimer's.
Well, I mean, somebody always has something when they do or say something stupid.
Well, he's 84 years old, so he could have just said, like, you know what, Mr. Sterling thought it was a time in his life when that was a more acceptable statement to have made. So he's apologized. He would never make that statement once if he was with his right mind now. He would have made it in the past, but not now.
Right.
So, yeah, what do you think of solar roads? That sounds exciting, Jay.
I don't think people want to hear about solar roads. I'm all for it, but I don't think we need to get into that.
That was from Martin. Jonas writes, worst school memories.
Oh, my goodness. I have so many.
Well, instead of saying worst, why don't you pick a bad one? I can give you a bad one if you were trying to think of yours bad ones.
Okay.
So at some point growing up, I was I described it as a very round kid.
Mm-hmm.
Very overweight, and around the age of like 13, I lost a bunch of weight and started like exercising more and got healthy and haven't been really round since. But up to that point, like every year you have the physical fitness test in school, right?
Oh, yeah, that like presidential thing.
Yeah. This is like, hey, everyone, we want to test everyone's physical fitness and make those students that are around feel really bad about themselves.
Yeah, we want to post the grades in front of all your classmates so they could see that you could do one sit-up.
If you didn't feel bad enough for yourself about being a fat shit, we are going to make it so much worse for you right now.
Yeah.
So I think of all the tests, I think when we got to junior high, they added in it wasn't enough to do a pull-up. The girls had to do just a bar hang, just hang from the bar. Mm-hmm. The guys had to pull themselves up, like in the pole position,
mm-hmm.
for and they counted how many seconds you got, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, do you remember doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the pull. How long do you think you got on that?
I think we had to do actual pull-ups. They only let the girls do the hang.
Well, maybe they just felt bad for me. But later on, we had to do pull-ups in high school. I think in junior high, though, you only had to do the hang. Like the girls could hang with their extended arm, but the guys could had to do in the pole position. But then we got to high school, they started making us do pull-ups.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember doing that in junior high. I just remember high school, and I couldn't do more than 2 pull-ups until like senior year.
Okay, so think about your junior high self. You get yourself in the pole position. How many seconds do you think you can hold it for?
I don't know, 10.
So 7th grade, how many seconds do you think I held it for?
8.
A quarter of a second.
Really?
That's the girl counting was like, I didn't even get to start the clock yet.
It's like, well, thanks for pointing that out.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that bad. I thank you for pointing it out. That was, yes, that was pretty awful. I'm glad you couldn't have guessed I couldn't hold it, but thank you.
I think one of the hot girls in the back of the room didn't hear you say that. Could you repeat that?
Yeah. To be fair, I can do pull-ups now, no problem. But that was embarrassing, to say the least.
Yeah.
That and actually thinking about the other one was we were all another gym class memory. We were all doing sit-ups in gym class, and I farted very loudly, and the entire school, the entire class, I mean, like it was just like cracked up. And I was like, damn it. and then some girl who I was like kind of into, my sister knew the brother, and my sister like had heard about that I farted in gym class. I was like, oh, wonderful.
Did you get a nickname because of that?
No. It kind of like was like whatever.
Because there was a chubby kid with glasses that wasn't me in the same class as me, so this could easily have been me. And one of the cute girls in class turned to him and said, "You look like Piggy from Lord of the Flies." And so for the next 4 years, he was Piggy.
Wow, that's really mean.
That's rough, though. I mean, that's the way it is in high school, though. You get one name, and that's it forever.
Yeah, that's a bad one, Piggy.
Yeah, there's no way to come up with a more flattering story to that one.
You're like, why do they call you Piggy? Oh yeah, obviously. Okay, never mind. What's your memory? What's your memory?
We could actually do this every episode because there's so many. Let's see. One of my bad ones was I was the last person cut for basketball team.
Yeah.
And I guess the coach offered me like he said it was like a basketball manager job, which was like keeping stats and like looking up plays and stuff like that. And I was so insulted I didn't make the team, I turned that down.
Before you even finish your story?
Yeah.
I just read an article in the Times the other day. I don't know what about this guy who did that. He played basketball, but he got injured, so that's what led him to do it. Mm-hmm. And he was doing it, I think, at Duke or whatever school it was. Anyhow, so this led to him actually being like doing statistics and being hired and actually like helping coach Kevin Durant and other famous basketball players. And he had developed a business out of it.
Well, that makes me feel much better.
So anyhow, apparently that was an opportunity he should have taken because apparently this guy he's like 30 and has coached Kevin Durant and like Chris Paul and a bunch of other like famous players employ him now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one, that was what I wanted to do for a few years, just not at that time. And two, apparently that coach worked the players too hard and half the team quit like a month later. So I would have had a big role on the team had I just I probably would have got offered like a role on the team if I accepted the manager thing. Right.
You were like, who else can play since everyone quit?
Right. So yeah, that's not a pleasant one.
No, I guess we can do the personal memory thing like every time.
Yeah, I think so. I think I could probably go for a couple months with that.
I also added with the by eighth grade, I guess it was the eighth grade with last year being fat, and then ninth grade I lost weight. I had lost like 50 pounds. Mm-hmm. It was gradual, but like the last of it like was over the summer, and came back to school, and it was always like, "Oh, you look so much better now." Thanks, and it was just backhanded compliment after backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
People meeting the most well, they're like, "Thank you. I didn't know how low you thought of me prior. Thank you. I appreciate that."
No, but I don't think you understand how terrible you look.
You were such a fuck yourself. I appreciate that. Let's be friends. That's from our Brew Sanity group, and then we have questions from our Knicks group, where we beg people for more questions because that's what we do. Grant writes, if you visited Japan, how would you handle the language barrier, and what would you do if you ran into Yakuza, the Japanese mafia? That's a interesting question.
Yeah. Well, luckily, a lot of things in Japan are in English. I would hopefully in this scenario, I would have time to brush up before I went, or am I just like transported to Japan?
Let's say you're transported to Japan and it's not in Tokyo. So like I imagine in Tokyo, things are in English. I don't know how much they're in English, but let's say you're in like another smaller city where nothing's in English.
Yeah, that would be a problem. That I might have to find a quick English to Japanese book and just learn like bathroom water and sleep.
I remember once being in a German restaurant where they not like a restaurant in Germany where the like they only spoke German in the restaurant, and everything's in German, and we were trying to order food, and eventually we were just like, fuck it, we just left.
You
We were like, this is not going to work out. Everything, there's no pictures. We're trying to explain this to them. They're just not getting what we're saying because we're morons. We don't speak the language, and we're like, we don't just. I can't just point to an item and just like hope it works out.
Yeah, that's what you should have done.
But it was like a lot of. If they just had pictures, I can like, hey, I can. What I should have done was like have the waiter go like mime him for like I should have like played charades with the meal and like act like a chicken or have like walk around the table and like point someone else's meal. I want that.
Yeah, you should have said you had to go to the bathroom and then just took the long way around and looked at everyone's plate.
I should have just taken him with me, like follow me, and then like go like that. And the guy's like, and then have someone else shout at German at me because I'm pointing at this meal like right next to him. What would I do in Japan is I don't know. I would not do well if I don't speak the language.
Mark would starve because apparently he's too scared to just order a random thing on the menu.
Yeah. And if I ran to the Japanese mafia, it would work out really well because it would turn out that I am a superhero. It turned out that I am a secret agent I didn't know about, and I have all my memory erased, and then suddenly it came back like the Born Identity guy.
There you go.
There you go. That's what would happen. I would kick the ass out of the. What would you do against the Japanese mafia?
Fetal position and a lot of crying.
Austin writes, would you like to see Derek Fisher maybe play one more year in New York and play that coach on the floor role off the bench? This is not our Knicks show, but they asked the question, so we'll ask your question also.
Yeah, I think Austin thought this was the Knicks show question thread.
No, but whatever. We'll be back next week with real answers to your questions. But would you like to see him be a player coach?
No, not really.
Can you do that? Can you be like the head coach and a player?
I don't know. I know you used to be able to. I don't know if they changed the rules because I know Bill Russell was, but I don't know if they changed that.
If you could, would you want it?
Sure.
Would it be awkward with like, who put Derek Fisher in? Oh, the coach. I feel like that'd be kind of too. Did Russell do a good job doing that?
Yeah, he won a championship.
Oh, okay. If it worked out once, then it'll work out again.
It worked out once like 60 years ago.
Didn't the Knicks already have that with Jason Kidd?
Unofficially, yes.
So, and didn't that work out? So what the hell?
Yeah.
I would do that. I don't. It solves our problems. We need another point guard.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not going to get anybody else.
Grant writes, besides the sports teams, i.e. the Knicks, Jets, etc., what are the most depressing things in New York?
This could be another weekly segment. I mean, homeless people everywhere.
Obviously, that's a depressing thing. You know here's a depressing moment you get in New York City, is that the subway, like on like especially like rush hour.
Oh, this was going to be my next one, but yeah, I know. Where you're going.
The subway cars or something are like really packed, and then like the one pulls up when the cars pull up and it's completely empty, and you're like, sweet, I'm gonna get a seat, and you get on it, and you realize right away why no one's on the car because there's a homeless man whose stench is so terrible, and you're not positive he's even alive, and you just have to decide, do I want a seat and hold my breath or just get on another car?
But sometimes this all registers in more than the amount of time it takes for the doors to shut. So then you're just stuck in that car.
Oh, and that's when you when the next stop, you like immediately sprint for the next car.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get off it basically.
Yeah.
And you like I'm not able to stand. That's something that's really sad in New York, especially because you, like everyone else, is just so turned off by the smell that you don't bother to check if the guy's alive.
Yeah.
That's pretty sad also. What about you? What's depressing in New York?
Well, I was going to go a different route with the subways about how the...
We should write this down. These are like great weekly segments.
Yeah, they are. With the subways, I was just going to go by how the subway system is just run by a bunch of corrupt people who don't make any improvements to the subway train, but then raise the prices constantly. And so and you have no other options. So it's kind of depressing how you're stuck. You're screwed. You're stuck in that situation. There's nothing you can do about it.
They do improve some things. Now you have the clocks telling you when the subways are coming.
Yeah, when they work, and when you're at a station that has one of those.
And they've added actually now you can they've added Wi-Fi to some stations. Now you can or like cell service. Now you can actually talk on the phone and stuff.
Oh, good. That'll make the subway ride a lot less miserable. Listening to people talk at full volume into their phone.
And I think the
I'm gonna add that to my list of more depressing things.
and the rats on the tracks that I watch for amusement, they seem well fed, so they're improving obviously their lives.
Yeah, they're huge.
Oh my god! But they're always down, like you're standing on the platform, you can see them, and I'm kind of just like, I'll watch the rats of life for a little while because I have a couple minutes to kill. What's he gonna do now?
When I was after class one day, I was waiting for the subway, and one of the rats got up, onto the waiting area, and people were like freaking out. It was pretty funny.
I was once walking on the subway. I got down the stairs. It was me, and it was just my cousin. And a rat was coming, running full speed straight at us. It ended up like just going right by us. But I had thoughts of like, if it stops at me or runs up my leg, do I just die right away? How do I just get out of this moment? I don't know what I'll do.
All right, we're running long, so real quick, we'll do the last 3 questions.
Okay. In your opinion, what is the best pizza in New York?
This one's tough because
This is from Nils. Thank you, Nils.
my favorite places keep closing.
Oh.
I mean, I know John's has the reputation for being the best in the city.
Yeah.
I might have to go with that one just because my other 2 favorites closed recently.
That one's a really good one. I love for like as far as chain pizzas, I'm not talking like national chains, but like small ones in the city. Patsy's I absolutely love.
I've never even seen one of those.
Oh, they're pretty good. I mean, I love their pizza. There's not that many of them, but they're like a little bit of chain. They're a chain in the city. I don't know if they're outside the city.
So there was one on Avenue A I loved, and they changed owners and they changed the name, and now it's terrible.
Sean writes, "Ugh, will Phil Jackson be the coaching? Haha. His granddaughter. Will Phil Jackson be coaching his granddaughter in Lamaze class, or will he be physically unable?"
Yeah, he's gonna be unable.
Rob writes, "Have you guys ever met anyone famous? And if so, who was the coolest person you met?"
Most of the famous people I run into, I'm already drunk and I'm arguing with my friend if that is or is not the person. So we're basically just yelling like, we ran into Quentin Tarantino. I'm like, that's not Quentin Tarantino. And my friend's like, yeah, it is. I'm like, why would Quentin Tarantino be on the street? And you're like, dude, he's right there. That's him. Like, that's not. And we're like literally like circling him and yelling at the top of our lungs about how it's not Quentin Tarantino. We did that with Horatio Sands, a couple other people, Moby.
So I've walked by a bunch of people. I actually have a conversation. Not that famous, I guess, because it wasn't. But I met the guy who's now the lead singer of Kansas. After the previous guy was gone.
So 40 years after they peaked.
Yeah.
How do you even know who that is?
Anyhow, so
wait, how do you even know who that is?
Because someone said that's the guy from Kansas.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like I was like, oh wow, I only know this. I only know the replacement. Anyhow, so one of our friends, he's like, oh, my brother's a gigantic Kansas fan. And he was like so excited, and he got his brother on the phone to like talk to the guy. Like, that was really cool and all that. And we were all like really wasted. And so the next day I was like, dude, remember last night? The funniest thing, like when you like insisted that guy was the lead singer of Kansas, and you kept harassing him. I had him going for a couple of minutes that like he was just drunk and they had been in that. Like, I was like, no, I was like, it's okay, dude. It was really the lead singer from Kansas.
I guess mine would be Zach Galifianakis.
Oh, you met him?
Yeah, he was cool.
What was the situation?
It was Halloween, and I finished walking in the parade, and I decided to go to the East Village to my favorite dive bar, still dressed as Beetlejuice. And I go in the bar, and Zach is just standing there alone. This is before Hangover, so
Okay.
I knew who he was because I like to stand up, but nobody else really knew who he was.
Yeah.
And so I walk up to him, and He doesn't even bat an eye that I'm like dressed up as Beetlejuice, and I'm like, oh, dude, I saw you at do stand up last week. It was so funny. He's like, oh, good, that's cool. And he threatened to rape one of the girls who was heckling him, and so I told him about how funny that was, and he's like, why, oh, why do I say these things? And it was pretty cool. And then a G11 special sauce was probably my second favorite.
Cool. For some reason the audio went to hell, but the show's over.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess that's time to end the show.
Okay, what did we learn today, Jay? The show's over. Bye.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back in a week or two.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye.